Gentlemen, you don't get what you deserve in life. You get what you negotiate. An AARP study of more than 8,000 people over the age of 50 found that 1 in 3 couples rarely or never have sex anymore. 1 in 3. I'd be willing to bet that most of the men in that third have never once asked for what they actually want. Not directly, not specifically, not without guilt or apology wrapped around it. They've hinted, they've hoped, they've tried being nicer, tried being more patient, tried just waiting it out. What they haven't done is ask. My name is Cody DeLong, and this is King of Me. And today, I'm going to talk about how to have the conversation most men are too afraid to have, and what it actually sounds like. But first, here's what happens when you don't ask. The resentment builds quietly, slowly, in a place you probably don't even talk about with yourself. You start keeping score without meaning to. Small withdrawals that never get named. You get less generous, less present, less interested in the relationship overall, because the relationship has stopped meeting one of the things you actually need from it. Men do this because we were taught that wanting is weakness. A real man doesn't complain. You should be grateful for what you have. That bringing up sex makes you look desperate or immature or like you only care about one thing. So instead of asking, men use indirect approaches, like being extra nice, hoping she'll pick up on it, initiating, getting rejected, and going quiet for 2 weeks. Making comments that are half joke, half plea. None of it works. All of it signals the same thing. I want something and I'm afraid to say so. And that posture, the one where your need is bigger than your willingness to name it, is exactly the posture that makes you less attractive, not more. Most men, when they finally do say something, do it all wrong. They bring it up in the bedroom right after a rejection, or they frame it as a grievance, everything they're not getting delivered like a case for the prosecution. Or they guilt trip, or they schedule, or they negotiate frequency like it's a work contract. Every one of those approaches communicates the same thing. I'm coming to you from a place of lack. I need you to fix something for me. You cannot create desire from that position. What you create is obligation, and obligated sex isn't what you're after. Nobody wants a starfish. Before we get into the conversation itself, there's something worth saying about the man having it. A man who has his own mission, his own interests, his own direction, his own life that isn't entirely organized around her approval. That man shows up differently. There's an air about him, a presence. He's interested in things. He's going somewhere. He doesn't need to perform or manage or convince. That quality is attractive in a way that niceness and accommodation never will be. Not because women want to be ignored, but because a man with nothing going on for himself gives her nothing to be drawn to. You can't be interesting to someone else if you stop being interesting to yourself. So if the intimacy in your relationship has been declining, one question to ask before anything else is, am I someone with genuine momentum in my own life? Or have I been coasting? Showing up tired, going through the motions, waiting for the weekend. A king shows up, present, purposeful, with something real happening behind his eyes. That's the foundation. It doesn't replace the conversation, but it changes who's having it. Now, even with all of that in place, some women won't be easily moved. Hormones change. Physiology shifts after 50 in ways that are real and significant. I've done a separate video on that, and it's linked below. Some women have a genuinely lower sex drive than they once did, and no amount of masculine presence fully reverses that. Some are stubborn. Some are carrying old resentments that never got addressed. And some are just wired differently. But here's what I'd ask you to consider. Desire isn't only one thing. A woman who loves her husband and wants to keep him, wants to be a good partner, wants the relationship to work, wants him to stay and be happy and continue to choose her, that's its own form of desire. It's not the same as a spontaneous physical urgency, but it's real, and it responds to something. It responds to clarity, to a man who says what he actually needs without manipulation, without resentment, and without apology. A man who trusts her enough to be honest about what he wants. She may not feel the pull she felt at 35, but if she loves you, she may have a genuine desire to make you happy, if you give her a chance to and tell her how. That's what the conversation is for. Here's what it can look like in practice. First, think about your timing. Don't have this conversation in the bedroom, and especially not right after a rejection. Not when either of you are tired or stressed. Pick a neutral time. Saturday morning, a quiet evening, whenever there's no pressure in the room. Think about your frame, your mindset. You're not coming to complain or keep score. You're not there to negotiate a settlement. You're coming to tell her something true about what you want and to ask what she wants. Two adults, a real conversation. Here's what that might sound like. Hey, honey, I want to talk about our sex life, not as a complaint. I love you, I'm committed to you, but I want more sex, and I want to be honest about what that means. I'd like us to have sex, on average, about 3 times a week, and I'd like oral sex to be a regular part of that. Something we do consistently, not occasionally. That's what I want, and I'd like to know what you want. What would make it better for you? Then stop and actually listen. Notice what that does and doesn't do. It's specific, not I want more sex, which is vague and easy to dismiss, but actual specifics, frequency, what kinds. Specificity is a form of seriousness, and it tells her this isn't a passing complaint. It's something you've thought about. It's not apologetic. You're not sorry for wanting what you want. You're stating it like a man who expects to be heard. It opens both directions. Asking what she wants isn't a technique. It's the difference between a demand and a conversation. If you only deliver your list and walk away, you've made an ultimatum. If you ask what she wants, well, now you've opened something. It's calm. No resentment in the voice. No scoreboards. Just 2 people talking about something that matters. Most men have never had this conversation, not once. Not like this. They have no idea what their partner would say if they asked directly, because they never have. So be aware that 3 things can happen. 1, she engages. She meets you in it, tells you what she wants, and you have a real conversation. And this is more common than men expect when they come from the right place. 2, she gets defensive. Old resentments surface. She hears it as an attack even though it wasn't. Don't match that energy. Hold steady. I'm not attacking you. I'm telling you what I want and asking what you want. That's it. And then give her time to calm down. 3, she shuts it down entirely. Won't engage, won't discuss it. That's information too. A woman who won't have a calm adult conversation about the sex life in her own marriage or long-term relationship, that tells you something about the relationship you need to know. And that's a different conversation for a different day. But whatever happens, you asked. You said what you wanted clearly and directly, like a man who respects himself. And that alone changes something. It changes something about you. Most men spend years quietly wanting things they never ask for, hoping circumstances will change, waiting for permission they're never going to get. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. That's true in business, it's true in life, it's true in the bedroom. And here's the thing. That first conversation isn't the only one you'll have. The couples who get this right over time develop their own kind of shorthand, their own code for things. And that makes it kind of fun. A low-stakes signal that tells the other person where they are, so the moment doesn't have to be heavy every time. I've put exactly what that can look like in the guide below. Download the Conversation Prep Guide, link in the description. It walks you through what to say, how to say it, and the simple code that keeps the conversation going long after the first one. If you found this useful, the Sex and Menopause Guide covers the physiological and hormonal side of intimacy after 50. Link in the description. Because sometimes the conversation goes well, and there's still something else going on. Stop drifting, start leading.